and pumps to manage water levels by disposing of excess water and running water back to the sea or river. To make sure that the water doesn't run over land, pores can be used to protect houses, farms, and factories, and thus are used a lot around the country. The Netherlands also built dams and utilized sand dunes to create ways to stay dry in their swampy land. This shows that there are ways in which we can observe nature and live alongside it. So the bad news is behind its ethereal beauty. Our moon hides a power that, if just so combined, is set to overwhelm humanity's coastal settlements. However, there's always a bit of good news too, as knowledge is a power of its own. By understanding our plight, we can look for solutions, both among already existing ideas and ways forward that have yet to be discovered if we are to enjoy what is coming. It's high time for us to use our innate creativity and drive to adapt and survive to work with our planet rather than against it. On the 4th of March 2022, a mysterious rocket booster crashed into the surface of the moon. This event was watched by the scientific community, who had been tracking the booster since 2015, while it silently orbited our planet. When it crashed, it formed a strange double crater that defied precedent or obvious explanation. However, other watchers were more curious about its origin who had launched it. No nation claimed to have done so. My mind, when I heard about this, was immediately caught up in the idea of secret government programs or shady corporations launching pirate satellites for a quick profit. But as I delved into it, the origins of this mystery rocket actually opened my eyes to an unexpected issue, one that was deeply troubling. It speaks of an era fast incoming where, rather than space being a place of peaceful exploration, it might be rife with danger and conflict. Hopefully, this is something that can be avoided, but the first step is to understand what is happening up there. I'm Alex Mogan, and you're watching Astrum. Join with me today as we learn the likely origins of this rocket and the unsettling implications its existence casts on space exploration in general. To begin with, figuring out the origins of the rocket booster known as WE-913A is actually one of the simpler aspects of this mystery. And no, it's likely not the jettison from a secret government program. While admittedly, I don't have insider knowledge about the classified space programs of all the nations around the world, it turns out secret space launches are surprisingly difficult to achieve, making this explanation unlikely. This is because for the last 70 years after the invention of the intercontinental ballistic missile, countries have become very invested in knowing when other countries are launching rockets. The great fear during the Cold War was that America and Russia would send nuclear missiles at each other. As such, it was a matter of survival for each to know what the other nation was doing. They did this with radar, but also with spy networks. When Russia launched Sputnik 1 in 1957, American intelligence already knew about it, even if they didn't pass this information on to the American people. But since then, radar systems and satellites have become so good they are able to spot launches within minutes. It's essentially impossible now to send a rocket up without someone noticing. Rockets are, after all, quite difficult to hide, and even if you did manage to launch it undetected, space is incredibly open. And even if governments missed it, amateur astronomers across the globe watch the skies as a hobby. It wouldn't take very long before someone spotted it. You'd likely have more success disguising your secret spacecraft as something it wasn't if you sent it up disguised as an innocent satellite, or had it fall off a rocket, as if it was simple space junk. You could let it drift through space in plain sight, yet hidden. If our mystery rocket was something like this, that might make more sense. However, we likely know its true origin thanks to a little bit of mathematics. Independent astronomers as far back as 2015 had watched the path of the mystery rocket, and by plotting its course, they were able to calculate the reverse of its trajectory. By doing so, they could work out which nations it had passed over at various points in its past, while initially this led them to believe that it was a stage of a SpaceX rocket. This theory was later supplanted by a much more probable explanation that it had belonged to the Chinese Chang A5T-T1 mission. The mystery rocket's orbit passed over China on the same day as the Chang 5 T1 launch and matched its trajectory exceptionally well. There was additional evidence. University of Arizona students at the Space Domain Awareness Lab used a Raptor's telescope to take a spectroscopic survey of the mystery rocket, essentially by looking at it through a telescope and evaluating the type of paint used on it from the light reflecting off it. They were able to compare it to existing records and identify that it was a closer match to China's rocket style than SpaceX's. These cooperating pieces of evidence led astronomer Jonathan McDowell to claim a 90% certainty that the mystery rocket had belonged to China. But China denied it when asked by journalists. Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin said the following, according to China's monitoring. The upper stage of the Chang A5 mission rocket had fallen through the A atmosphere in a safe manner and burns up completely. China's aerospace endeavors are always in keeping with international law. Some astronomers believe China was innocently mistaken. Here, it is also possible that China wasn't telling the truth. But if the evidence is so strongly against them, why deny it? It's perhaps that last.